Welcome back to my channel and a very special welcome if you're new here. My name is Jen and this is Jenn Clayton Nutrition. I want to start out this video by saying excuse my nasally raspy voice. I have been quite sick with a cold for a few days now and I feel like it gets worse, not better. So if my nose is red, if my voice is raspy, if I sound congested, it's because I am. So apologies in advance, but I definitely wanted to put out some content for you this week because we have a really good topic to talk about today. And that is visceral fat and why visceral fat is dangerous for your health and how you get rid of it. So if you're excited, give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not. Turn your bell on because I upload new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. Don't forget to check out the description box down below where you will find nutrition coaching. I have lost and maintained a 140-pound weight loss following my macros and calories. So highly recommend having yours done as well. And then I have one-on-one coaching for accountability, to ask questions, or talk with me directly. Links and discounts to my favorite healthy things are also down in that description box. So let's talk about visceral fat, why it's dangerous, and how to get rid of it. Now, it's healthy to have some body fat, and you are going to have some body fat, but all body fat is not created equally. Visceral fat is the dangerous body fat. There's two different kinds of fat that we see on a human body. Number one is subcutaneous fat, and this is the fat that sits under the surface. So if you have fat in your belly, fat in your hips, fat in your back, fat in your arms, that is subcutaneous fat. That is the better fat than visceral fat. Visceral fat is the fat that actually surrounds your organs, like your liver, your spleen, and your kidneys. This is the really dangerous fat. This is the fat that leads to health complications, and this is the fat that we should focus on getting rid of off of our body, along with subcutaneous fat as well. So let's define what is visceral fat. Visceral fat refers to a type of fat that's stored within your abdominal cavity and can build up in arteries. It can increase the risk of certain health conditions such as diabetes, prediabetes, and heart disease. Visceral fat is also known as the active fat because it can actively lead to health-related issues. So as much as we want to get rid of the subcutaneous fat, that fat under the surface, we need to be ultra focused on getting rid of that visceral fat around our organs. So how do you know how much visceral fat you have on your body? There's actually several ways to determine this. Number one is by a CT or an MRI, or you can have what is called a DEXA body scan. This is actually going to measure your bone density, all of the fat on your body, as well as lean muscle. I actually had one of these scans a few months ago, and it did tell me what my visceral fat was. Lucky for me, my visceral fat is very, very low. So that was something that was very rewarding from that DEXA scan. But having one of these types of scans is how you'll determine how much visceral fat you have on your body. 10% of all body fat on individuals is typically visceral fat. This is in a healthy level. If your level of visceral fat is much higher than this is where you want to be concerned. Quick, easy way to measure your overall health and your overall body fat and visceral fat is to take a measurement of your waist. So that's going to be the smallest part of your waist. If your smallest part of your waist measures 35 inches or larger, you're at risk for health issues. And for men, that's going to be 40 inches or larger. Now, like I said, you can't measure your visceral body fat percentage at home. That has to be done with the CT scan, MRI, or DEXA scan. However, let's go over how you can measure that waist to hip ratio, which is going to give you a somewhat better understanding of your overall body fat and your visceral fat. So you're going to stand up straight. Find and measure the smallest part of your waist. It's usually right above your belly button. This measurement is your waist circumference. Find and measure the widest part of your hips or buttocks. This measurement is your hip circumference. Divide your waist circumference by your hip circumference, and this is your WHR, or your waist to hip ratio. A waist to hip ratio above 0.85 for women and 0.90 for men indicates abdominal obesity. It also increases the risk of metabolic complications such as diabetes. So your WHR, your waist to hip ratio, is a really good way to determine how healthy and how much body fat you have. It's also way more accurate than the BMI chart. If you follow me, you know we don't discuss the BMI chart here. We don't know her because it's out of date, it's archaic, and it's not reasonable for most people. I'm considered overweight weight on the BMI chart, but my waist to hip ratio is within the healthy range. So what are some complications of visceral fat? What should you watch for and be concerned about? The main thing about visceral fat is it can increase insulin resistance and therefore make you more likely to suffer from diabetes. It also can cause high blood pressure and can actually raise your blood pressure quickly, which can lead to other health complications. Really, the big thing about visceral fat is it's likely to cause you to suffer from multiple health conditions, and some of these can be life-threatening. Heart attack and heart disease, type 2 diabetes, stroke, colorectal cancer, and Alzheimer's disease. So this can be really scary, and if you have a high amount of visceral fat, you're more likely to suffer from these health-related consequences. So we need to talk about, how do you get rid of visceral fat? What is the most effective way so that you can remain healthy? Visceral fat responds really well to things like exercise, diet, and other lifestyle changes that help you maintain a moderate weight. So first, let's talk about exercise and how it can combat visceral fat. You want to make sure you're doing cardio and strength training, and ideally, you want to move your body about 30 minutes every single day. Even if that's taking a walk outside, moving your body 30 minutes a day is going to help decrease visceral fat. Also, cardio exercise helps burn fat overall. Circuit training, biking, running, HIIT training, all of these are great ways to get in cardio. And then of course, strength training is really important as well because it helps maintain and build lean muscle, which burns calories and fat, also increasing your metabolism so that you're able to lose that visceral fat a lot quicker. Yes, cardio leads to fat loss, but strength training is more important than cardio, so make sure you're doing both. Next up is your diet. You want to follow a healthy, well-balanced diet. We don't want to restrict or eliminate any food or any food groups. We want to eat a healthy diet. 80-20 approach. 80% whole real foods, 20% fun foods. Do your best to have a small amount of highly processed foods, added sugar, and trans fats, as well as saturated fat. Really rely on those whole real foods and then incorporate a small amount of fun foods into your diet. That's what's going to make it sustainable long term. And then your lifestyle overall, making sure that you eliminate as much stress as possible, that you get 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night, do deep breathing exercises, meditate, and really invest in your holistic health. Now, if you're a man and your waist measures more than 40 inches, or if you're a woman and your waist measures more than 35 inches, this is when you want to look into seeing a doctor, someone that can help you regulate your body fat, help you eat a little bit better, and maybe look into a coach like myself or a nutritionist. What we have to remember about visceral fat is it's not visible. What you see on your body that's visible is that subcutaneous fat. Although not visible, visceral fat is there, and it's the really dangerous fat. The fat we want to get rid of as soon as possible. Just maintain a healthy, active lifestyle. Make sure you're investing in your mental and holistic health as well, and rid yourself of that excess visceral fat, therefore making you a healthier individual overall. Let me know down below if you've had a CT scan, MRI, or DEXA scan and what your results were for visceral fat. And if you have any tips and tricks to rid that fat, let us know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, turn your bell on because I upload new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. Don't forget to invest in yourself and your personalized macros and calories, and one-on-one coaching, as well as my favorite healthy things, are all down in that description box. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.